Cluster sampling is defined as a sampling technique in which the population is divided into already existing groupings or clusters. Besides, cluster sampling is a sampling strategy in which the researcher creates various clusters of people from a population that have homogeneous traits and have an equal chance of being included in the sample. Then, a sample of the cluster is selected randomly from the population. The term cluster refers to a natural but heterogeneous intact grouping of the members of the population. Population for this cluster sampling is mathematics students of Universiti Pendidikan Sultan Idris. Clusters in this study are defined as mathematics students that live in 6 different areas, which are College Ungku Omar, College Harun Aminur Rashid, College Sabah, College Aminuddin Baki, Taman Bahtera, and Sri Harmony. There are 3 subtypes of cluster samplings, which are single-stage cluster sampling, two-stage cluster sampling, and multi-stage cluster sampling. In this study, single-stage cluster sampling is applied. There are 3 objectives in this study, which are: the first one is estimate the value of mean and variance for single-stage sampling of the time spent exercising per week. The second objective is estimate the average of the time spent exercising per week based on residence of mathematics students. The last objective is find standard error of the time spent exercising per week based on residences of mathematics students.
From 6 different clusters, 4 clusters are chosen randomly. So, the big N is 6, small n is 4, and m bar is 10. Then, n1 equal to 11, m2 equal to 13, m3 equal to 10, and m4 equal to 6. The first step is find the average of time spent for exercise, and then after the calculation, thus the average time spent for exercise per week is 85.8 minutes. And for the step 2 is find the estimate of variance, and you can get the answer is 85.95 minutes. And the last one is find the standard error, and our standard error is 9.27.
Large, widespread population should be studied using cluster sampling because interviewing every individual will be expensive, time-consuming, and possibly impossible. Cluster sampling enables the constructions of smaller, more similar representation of the population being studied. One-stage cluster sampling is selecting a random sample of cluster and collecting information from each and every subject within that sample. For this experiment, we use the data of time spent for exercise per week among mathematics students. According to calculation, the standard error of time a math student spend exercising each week is 9.27. Therefore, the standard error measures the difference between an estimate from a sample and the population actual values. Thus, the better the standard error, the smaller it should be. In fact, the predicted value would be exactly the true value if the standard error was 0 or close to it. Therefore, in this experiment, each cluster is a miniature representation of the population.
In summary, a cluster is a grouping of objects from the same class. To put it another way, things with related attributes are gathered in one cluster, while objects with different properties are gathered in a different cluster. Since the fact that the standard deviation obtained is 9.27, we may assume that each cluster represents the entire population of the math students at Universiti Pendidikan Sultan Idris. Therefore, cluster sampling can be an effective sampling method used for estimating the population for weekly time spent on exercising among OPSI mathematics students. That's all from us. Thank you.